Started APT. This week was not good. Clearly, we see that we don't have enough history, so we have to go lower time frame. Clearly, it's under pressure. So this downtrend, this is definitely a trend line, like what BTC, it could touch this one. This is its destiny. Remember, this was the low. So as part of this, I think this yellow line would be the support for APT. So the direction is down for now. Let's look at Atom on a weekly. Okay, interesting. So this has failed here, but still above white line. And we have this. And I want to keep some room here because it could do some trick where because this is support. But you can imagine if this is broken, then essentially we can consider that the mood is not good. We cannot say that it will make new low at this level, but definitely this is a rejection, right? And the right now the downward pressure is more without any doubt on a weekly time frame. We can see that. So this particular move is not ended, right? If it would have gone up like this, then we can say, okay, now this is done, and then probably looking for this kind of a setup. But at this moment, um, at this moment in this week, this pressure is high. Remember, I mentioned earlier, not financial advice, but sometimes there is nothing to trade. Okay. I mean, for a given list, there could be something going up from active list point of view. So Atom, which I explained on last video, so I won't repeat it. We call no trade zone. It's not that it's not a rule, but it's a condition. It's an expression that you don't have enough clarity whether what it will do. So if it breaks below here, then there is clarity, right? When it started going down, then there is clarity. It got rejected. Here you can say it's a support, but what I don't like here is it already bounced and then got rejected, and there is no sign of rise. So if it bounces, even if it comes to this level, then I'll say opportunity from a long point of view. But at this moment, there is no bounce, though it's on support. And if you look at the guideline, remember, those support is of course point of or potential point of bounce or potential bounce, but only when you see a sign of bounce. So first, support is where you expect a bounce, but you have to wait for that bounce to occur. Like here it bounce, which is opportunity, but now the bounce failed. So this is not an opportunity from a long point of view, from a guideline point of view. Evax, look at this one. So this is the path, lot of support. So at this moment, we'll keep this one. Yeah, there's no clarity here as well. Though I have path from here, maybe the right way to depict is this. Otherwise, yeah, this is more. This is like we don't know what it's going to be because this is a huge inverted head and shoulder where it could really pan out like this. And of course, this is point of invalidation. So we may extend like this. So something like this. If it breaks below this, then it follows the dot dash line. and lands on this, let's say. Otherwise, it would follow the this path. Now it's yellow because we are not sure. And from here, if it goes about maybe like this one, then it's a correct depiction. Hmm, makes sense. BNB. BNB is relatively good. I mean, it corrected, but not so deep enough. So you can clearly see this is if you draw a simple zone, then it's a bigger one because of the spike. But it's okay. We can keep up to this. This is big consolidation zone, right? So it's doing well. It's near breakout, not somewhere here, which is encouraging. It simply means that it's more resilient than other. So when you have to rank, you can say BNB is much better because it's holding up. It's just for comparison. This is beautiful. You see this yellow line is doing great job here. And that's why we have this from above this yellow line. There was a reason. Makes sense. And BOT. Remember, this is uncertain zone. So I would not use the term no trade zone. Okay, that has different meaning. I mean, it is more explicit advising kind of a thing. So I would refer the term uncertain, which is actually more appropriate. We don't know because then you are tracking the upper and lower boundaries. This is like uncertain zone, undecided. So we can't confirm it. This is also similar kind of setup EGLD. This is mess. This is low point, high point, low point, lower point, low low, and it's kind of moving in this, um, you know, channel, so to speak. So clearly, it has to break about this because the boundary could be little. It has to break about at least this high. Correct? So we can say this is an uncertain zone. Ethereum. Hmm. It has broken this one, but I think horizontal line makes sense. Which one? This one, which we have. We don't have to, but we just add this, which is the resistance from oil. Like that. Yeah, not bad. Very similar to BNB. If you could relate, very similar. So BNB, Ethereums are stronger coins in terms of holding its value, retaining its value. FET is vulnerable. Clearly, you can see that it went down, nice bounce, touch, bounce, fail, return back. If it keeps touching, there's no rule on how many touches it would break down. But clearly, visually, you can say if it is sticking to the support, that's not good. Sticking to support is not good. It should move away, then it's good. So definitely, we can clearly see downside pressure here. But my arrow is from here because I need to give this room for any crazy movement. But from weekly, it's behavior point of view. This it is indicating that the downside pressure is overwhelming. FIL is in trouble and totally uncertain zone and weighing more on the downside. Clearly rejected from R1, but not bad, not as bad. But we have a box Remember, we have a box. This is uncertain box. UV. Again, this is where this pattern is going to fail. Remember, maybe maybe I should do like this. This is rejected. When it is rejected, the trader who are active grab opportunity on the down for the downside. You see my point. So how you use this level is up to you. You are how much you track, how much time you give. Um, I would just ignore this coin. There's nothing unless it breaks above support one. Nothing. Rejected. See, it tried to recover, got rejected by the support. Support became resistance. SR flip. So yeah, it's very clear. RNDR last week's gain, not looking good. Not looking good. So it got bounced from this one. If it comes down to this one, not good. But yeah, it's not looking good at this moment, right? And if it comes closer, then it's so what I'm seeing is alts are indicating meltdown, in my opinion. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to neutralize, again, not trying to change them, but neutralize the stand that this point in time, the it could swing on a opposite side, like downside, because the social media is not talking about anything like that. But here, we are always try to be a step ahead, attempt at least, and it's trying to be neutral and very objective, remove all the bias and see what it's trying to do. And if you are really honest about honest, I mean, you don't have to be a TA, but you can clearly see that it is doing something where you have to be watchful for sure. And some of the oils are really showing weakness. Sand coin again, see, it has to break about this, then we'll entertain, right? Otherwise, this is still going down, like down, up, down, up. This is not high enough. So if it goes down here, it can easily come down on a lower end. So this is no good. SOL, not bad, but see, it got rejected by this orange line nearby. So that's not a good sign. Yeah, it hasn't broken the structure, but definitely this is uncertain zone, right? Uncertain zone. It's a waste of time. Because if it do making move like 5% here and there inside, it will make any trader crazy about it unless the trader understands that it's a no trade zone. I should not use that. Uncertain zone. See, so sorry if you are pissed in a way that there's nothing on active list, but that's the reality at this moment. We have to just embrace the reality. We don't have a choice. Right? And another challenge that I mentioned before the call or recording began, that even in the Trident, it's very hard to trade because the opportunities are so short term. And yeah, it's very hard. Only one point you know that from Trident is consistently going up, right? That high MAYC. I've seen so many charts you won't believe in last few days. So it's very hard to find any coin just moving up consistently. So that's the reality of this phase, uncertain times. But for those who are long, Those who are short, probably for them, their opportunities just started in a way, because we think from long side only in my narrative, but from a short side is always the opposite. And yeah, because if the oils are melting, so it could be a beginning of a uh, continuation of the downtrend again, potentially, unless they bounce from the boundary that I highlighted. So it all depends on what side you are on. But yeah, there's nothing much for long side. That's what I can say. So with that note, I'll end this session. I hope you got the sense and understanding of the price action. Uh, I think we always cover DXY, and so let's do that. The DXY has a retest. I mentioned up posted on info before this bounce. Remember, before this bounce, here as well, I highlighted this is going to bounce, and then BTC reacted. And then I highlighted it has hit the resistance where the BTC continued. And again, before this bounce, I had highlighted on info, if you check, that it has hit a critical support S3, something like that. And then it bounced, and then we got reaction. So there's no surprises. And this is like down move. Remember, this is amazing looking upswing. Then this is down, and this is a bounce, and this is kind of a retest. I'm not saying this DXY is going to recover, but you know that if this level is broken above where it got rejected, it's going to then it's going to continue in this direction, right? It makes sense. Like from this point onwards. I have, yeah, something like this. Mhm. So yeah, in this case also, mm, you can put a box here. Uncertain, uncertain. But from this week point of view, it's DXY is bouncing. So next week, if it bounces, then we can say then pressure on odds will continue. Okay, so that's DXY. In Treasury, we can have a quick look. Treasury also got support here, so it's not dead yet. It's not dead. This is triple bottom. One, two, and three. Not dead yet. It's very interesting times. And if we talk about macroeconomic, um, the bad news are not stopping. Somehow, right? And but uh, if the government is hiding about banks' situation, then we don't know. Like U.S. bank had issue, liquidity was one, then rescued basically, not bailout, but rescued in one way by offering support for the deposit, the account holders, not the investors, and not the traders. So it's not bailout, but securing the deposit, the cash. And then we saw what happened with Credit Suisse. Right? It was again survived in a way by some UBS takeover. And now, then Friday there was news about Deutsche Bank. It's a big bank, German bank. We don't know what all banks in what situation. And if you want to know more about it, you can always study. But what is really happening? Why this that people are withdrawing money and parking into money market fund or other fund which are not bank related. So it's a vast topic. I won't be able to cover it, unfortunately. But this people are investing in some asset classes or money market, and that's why bank is losing liquidity. and that's why they are in trouble. Yeah, and in some cases, the money is going into bigger banks. I heard that big banks like Bank of America or JP or Citi, they got more account opening and all that happened. But if they are also in trouble, who knows? Of course, if they go down, then the US government won't let it happen. So the big banks are always safeguarded. Maybe they'll depends on the situation though. But yeah, the consumer bank, I'm not saying investment banks, but the consumer bank point of view, they'll safeguard the deposits now. Very, very interesting times. Yeah, many things are happening. Yeah. If so, that's why I think week by week view makes sense to me because we don't know how it will shape up down the line. So if we have a checkpoint every week and see what is happening, probably we could. Okay, I'll end my recording here and we can talk about something else.